Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I'm going to make this really, really quick. I wanted to answer a couple of your questions. I received a question in my email not too long ago, and it's a question I've been asked a lot lately. So I thought I would go ahead and answer this question on the Black Financial Channel. The question is, are we headed toward a recession? Is there a recession around the corner? You've seen a lot of indicators basically pointing to things like what is referred to as an inverted yield curve, which I'm not going to explain exactly the details of all that right now. I will just say that that is seen as an indicator that a recession is coming, and it's a pretty heavy indicator. It's not so much an indicator that a recession is coming or that a recession is here. It's more of an indicator that experts and economists feel that a recession is coming. And the thing about a recession is that a recession is a little bit of what they call a self-fulfilling prophecy, meaning that if you think it's coming, it's coming, right? If you think it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It's like, I really, really think that I'm going to break up, have a fight with my girlfriend. I really think that our relationship is going to go bad. I really think that that things are not going to work out. And guess what? When you think that way, things don't work out because you're looking for the boogeyman behind every corner, and you're always looking for a reason to be afraid. So what I'm going to do, David Kay and Sherlock Holmes, how are you? Good to see you. Is I'm going to basically break down recession really quick, what it means, and whether or not one is coming. First of all, what is a recession? A recession is two straight quarters of negative economic growth. So that means that the economy measured by gross domestic product, it's supposed to grow every quarter. But if there's a quarter where it doesn't grow, and then that happens twice in a row, then you're technically in a recession. So typically recessions are something where they know in the rearview mirror whether the recession has just happened or has already begun, but they don't always know exactly the moment that it begins, right? So basically that means that that GDP has to be negative, have negative growth for two consecutive quarters, and that is what defines a recession. Now, here's the thing. If you know what's interesting about the recession too is that Democrats are cheering for a recession. They want there to be a recession. Why? Well, because they feel that Trump is running a lot of his presidential campaign in 2020 on the economy. So they're hoping that the economy tanks between now and then, which will reduce his opportunity to win the election again next year. So I think that's kind of crazy that you'd be rooting for a president to fail or you'd be rooting for the economy to go south. But that's how stupid our politics has become. The other thing I want you to know about a recession that's really important to understand is that a recession is always coming. There's always a recession on its way. There's always a downturn. There's always a market correction. There's always, people say, is the stock market going to crash? I say, absolutely. It always does. It always will. It'll never stop. But here's the problem. Every time that the market's crashed, it's always recovered. So every time it rains, the sun comes out. And those who benefit from the sun are those who were making moves while the rain was coming down, right? So like Warren Buffett said, be greedy when others are scared. Be scared when others are greedy. So basically, recessions are actually a huge money-making opportunity. There are many families that built their wealth during recessions. If you go to places like Detroit or other cities that were really hit when the economy went south, those are cities where the most investment is happening. People overseas are going to places like Detroit and buying up hundreds of houses at a time because they're like, well, Detroit ain't always going to stay down. We're going to just buy up everything, and then when they start investing, we'll be positioned to benefit from the price increases. So Black people, I want you to know you should be buying up your hoods. You should be buying up buildings. You should be trying your best to get rental property. You should be making moves, recession or no recession. That's really, really important. So a recession is always coming. Stop running around afraid constantly that there's a recession on the way. There's a recession on the way. That's not important. The fourth thing I will say to you is this. In investing, there are two types of factors that tend to move the valuation of a portfolio, the valuation of assets. One is what they call systematic factors. Those are big things that involve the whole system, the whole economy that you can't control. These are big things that just happen, and it has nothing to do with you, and it's going to affect your economic situation because it just kind of happens everywhere, right? But then there's what they call idiosyncratic factors. Idiosyncratic factors are things that are specific to you, specific things that you do, specific things you do in your household. Did you save? Did you invest? Do you have your emergency fund in place? Do you have, are you preparing financially for your children? Have you developed alternative streams of income? The idiosyncratic factors are the things that matter solely in terms of what you're doing in your life right now. And what is true for most of you in your economic situation is that it is not the systematic factors that shape your positioning. It is the idiosyncratic stuff that dominates. I don't care what kind of economy you're in. If you're in a great economy and you're making bad financial moves, you're going to be broke. It don't matter if the whole world is doing well, you won't be doing well. A lot of people are doing well because the stock market's been shooting up, but guess who's not doing well? Oh, the people who never invested in the stock market, right? The people who didn't, tie their fortune onto the stock market are not benefiting from the stock market increase. So you're seeing a lot of a lot of investors doing well, but if you're not an investor, then you're not going to benefit. So basically, what you got to realize is that what determines where you are economically is what you do. I watched my parents back in the 1980s during the Reagan era, during an era where Black people were supposedly going through hell and struggling and suffering. And my parents were not rich. They were working class. My father and mother, we were born. When I was born, we lived in the projects, a place called LaSalle Place in Louisville, Kentucky. I lived in the projects when I was a baby. It wasn't no thing. And then I lived in government housing until I was about 11 years old. But I watched my parents in the 1980s during the middle of all Reaganomics. Oh, Black people, it's terrible. During Reaganomics, I watched my parents work hard, go to school, finish school by the age of 30. I watched them work hard, save their money, I watched them build up their credit. I watched them get better jobs because they got more skill. And then I watched them go from a renter to an owner, buying their first home around 1983, 84, something like that. And then I saw them continue to go up. Every couple of years, my parents would make a move and it put them in a better position. And this was right in the middle of Reaganomics, right? So ultimately, what I want you to understand, which is really important, is stop running around being scared about a recession. Stop running around worried like, oh, there's a recession coming. All hell's going to break loose. What that is that's media using financial fear to increase their ratings. They use fear as a strategy to get you to do a lot of things. They found out, for example, that people are more likely to vote for a candidate, not because you like the candidate, you vote because you're afraid of the other candidate. So the best way for me to win an election is to get you to be so scared of the other guy that you feel like you have to come vote for me because I'm going to protect you, right? Well, at the end of the day, they're not going to protect you from nothing. I guarantee you also that if there's a stock market drop tomorrow, they're going to talk all about it all day, again, to scare you into watching the news. And then, but here's what they're not going to cover. They're not going to cover the recovery. When the market starts to recover, they're not going to talk about the recovery, but they always talk about the crash. Fear factor, fear factor, fear factor. So don't let the fear factors drive your behavior. Doesn't mean recessions aren't real. Doesn't mean recessions don't matter. But here's the thing. There's no indicator right now showing that we're anywhere near a recession. There are indicators saying that we could have one coming up. There are indicators saying that the boom may end at some point. People are feeling like, well, God, it's got to end at some point. It's been so good for so long. We don't know what to do. I mean, my gosh, what do we do with negative unemployment? What do we do with all these, all this economic prosperity? Well, what you do is you store your nuts for the winter, right? If things are good for you, you prepare for when things are going to go bad. Because I don't care who you are, no matter how much sunshine you get, it's always going to rain. And if you are smart, you will use the sunshine as the chance to prepare for the rain instead of just sitting in the sun and wasting your time and then getting upset because you got wet later on because you weren't ready for it. All right. So anyway, let's see here. I can't, Michelle, your question's kind of long, so I can only see something about real estate being on the rise. If there will likely be a recession, why is real estate on the rise? I just think real estate's always a good investment. I just think I'm going to go buy some rental property now, and I bet you ass that the place I buy this week is going to cost me more than it would have cost me if I bought it 5 years ago. I bet you anything that 20 years ago that property is probably 40% less than what it is right now. I bet you in 5 to 10 years that property is going to cost more than whatever we pay for it. Right. So the best time to move when it comes to investing is usually right now. Where that's a good market, the best time to move is right now. Bad market, the best time to move is usually right now. So just keep that in mind. That's what it is. Sherlock says, congratulations on your proposal to your queen to be. Thank you. Didn't know 102,000 people would watch the proposal, but if that inspired you, it reminded you how beautiful and wonderful Black women are, and that we should all be putting our the Black women we love on a pedestal. Then I'm glad to put myself out there. I was a little embarrassed because I kind of teared up. I didn't think I would, but it's okay. I'm have no shame in having nobody know how much I love that Black woman, and I say that Black woman because that's very important. important in my mind. Let's see here. I started to invest in January thanks to you, Dr. Boyce, says AD Ward. Good. If you haven't bought your first share of stock in the Black Business School, we have a free training that you could take right now on how to buy your first share of stock. Just go to blackmoney100.com, blackmoney100.com, sign up, and we'll teach you how to buy your first share of stock. What's your angle on AT&T stock? I don't pick specific stocks like that. I don't do that because the theory says that even if I did, it wouldn't help you. I can tell you about a company. I can tell you about the dynamics of it if I know that company, but there's thousands of companies and I invest in hundreds of different companies. I don't look for any one magic stock that's going to do everything. I just invest in a lot of things because ultimately with the growth of the economy, that should come the growth of your wealth and your prosperity. The key idea is to make sure your money's working for you. That's the key idea. And don't do anything silly, like don't put all your money in one business or, or one stock. You spread your money out, you diversify. Okay. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go. But let me remind you, if you want to get a free training on how to buy your first share of stock from the Black Business School, go to blackmoney100.com. If you would like to actually look into the Black Business School, it's an educational institution for you, by you. Go to theblackbusinessschool.com, that's theblackbusinessschool.com. And we have enrollment specialists that can talk to you right now about your future, your plans. They can talk to you about your wealth building journey and what you'd like to accomplish, all these things. And Kim Stacy says, that was you. Yeah, that was me. That was me. So thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. So I'm going to get out of here, and a few quick reminders. One, I'll be in Louisville, Kentucky, speaking at the Diverse Entrepreneurship Summit on the 15th. So you can go to drboycelouisville.com if you're interested in coming to that. The All Black National Convention is in the weekend of September 27th. That's going to be in Houston. So if you are very, very Black and you'd love to be around very, very Black people, go to allblacknationalconvention.com. Go ahead and get your room now because the discounted hotel rooms will be available for about 3 more days. And last but not least, I'm doing a big investment summit in New York City. It's going to be the weekend of October 27th. So if you'd like to go to that, go to drboycenewyork.com. It's a day-long event, 8 hours of nothing but investing talk with other Black investors and wealth builders. You will love it. Everybody loves it. It's always amazing. So feel free to go to drboycenewyork.com if you're interested in that. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Be good. Bye-bye.